What's up everybody, it's your boy MachoorTV. Today I've got a highly requested video. Anti-JP Tech. I know this character, everybody is struggling against him. He is a very strong character in Street Fighter 6. I've got some few tips for you guys that will help you beat JP. Stick to the end of the video to see one of the sauciest moves and one of the sauciest techs ever to use against JP. So without further ado, let's go to the practice mode. So I know that one of the main issues with playing against JP is that you find yourself a lot of the times you are very far away from him. You are at the end of the screen, full screen length, and he is throwing projectiles at you, whether it's going to be the horizontal ghost, or it's going to be the rift that he opens at the top of the screen, or it's going to be the ground spikes that come from underneath. The ground spikes are called Triglav, I believe. Yes, it's called Triglav. So basically, I wanted to show you guys how you can actually approach him from this stance. If you are here at the end of the screen and you want to get closer to him, this is where a lot of people they take damage. They struggle to get closer to him, and then they feel frustrated and they start making errors. So from my experience, when you are at this stage, you should be blocking everything. If you want to parry everything, I highly suggest that you do not hold parry. Don't hold parry against JP, because he sees you that you are holding parry, he can just stop whatever he's doing and he can do command grab from full screen length and grab you while you're doing your parry, or while you are recovering from the parry, because the parry has a very long recovery. So if you want to parry something, just tap the parry, don't hold it. Tap it, don't hold it, so then you can recover faster immediately after you parry something. Okay, so if you are at this stage, you are max range or full screen length from JP. How do you get closer to him? From my experience, only get closer or only dash after the ground spike, after the Triglav. Okay, so if he has if he's throwing the ghost in front of you as Ryu, you cannot really go through it. You cannot really dash, because you will get hit. Other characters, they are blessed characters with fast dashes, or like with fast drive rush, or with fast drive rushes that cover a lot of distance. They can dash through this ghost, the horizontal projectile. Okay, Ryu unfortunately cannot, and different characters cannot also. All right, so if this is happening, you can block it or you can jump it. Okay, but I highly suggest that you block it. All right, if it's full screen length. Another option is, and also the other thing is that if there is a rift that is opened at the top of the screen, okay, most of the time you should not be moving. Most of the time you should be blocking. That's the best option that you have, is to block. If the rift is open, just hold down, just block, wait. Okay, if he does the EX ground spikes, the EX Triglav, you don't dash afterwards. Okay, only when he does the normal Triglav. Only when he does the normal Triglav and there is no rift opened at the same time in the screen. So if he does the ground Triglav and there is a rift open at the top of the screen, you don't dash afterwards. You don't dash, you just wait. Okay, you wait until there is nothing on the screen except for the ground spike. Except that he's doing a ground spike, you block it, you parry it, whatever. Afterwards, you have to dash. Afterwards, you can dash and then immediately block, because he cannot do anything else other than just waiting for him to recover and do maybe like something else, like another Triglav, block it, then dash again, and then boom, you're in front of his face. Okay, so this is the way that you can close in the gap between you and JP if you are struggling to get close to him from like full screen length. That's point number one. That's the first tip. Only dash. Only try to approach after you block a Triglav. You can walk forward after, if the rift is only open, if there's nothing else on the screen and only the rift is open, you can walk forward, okay, and block once you hear his snap, or once the finger snap, or once the another projectile comes in the screen, or once the projectile from the rift itself is coming out. You can do that, but it's risky. It is risky because any hit that you get in this state, it will bring you back to square one. It will bring you back to the end of the screen. So you have to be very careful, and if you want to be absolutely safe, and get away from this situation with the least, damage, I highly suggest that you only dash after Triglav, after the ground spikes, guys. Only dash after that. If there is nothing else in the screen, if there is no rift in the screen or anything else. Alright, that's tip number one. Only dash after the Triglav. One more thing that you can actually do versus the Triglav, the ground spikes, you can actually like perfect parry it. If you can get the reactions, if you have the reactions for parrying that, you can perfect parry it and then immediately input a drive rush and hit him with a heavy kick or like a heavy punch or something, and then you can punish him from that. Ryu can do that. I believe every character can do that. If you want to go for that option to counter the Triglav, the ground spikes. However, if you just wanna get close to him, and if you don't like this option, you can just block it and then dash afterwards to closing the gap. Now that you have closed the gap between you and JP, and you are, let's say, not in front of his face immediately, you are in mid-range. Okay, he can't be, it's risky for him to start throwing fireballs or projectiles or stuff, because there is a risk of you jumping and punishing him. All right, so this is a very good place to be in versus JP. In mid-range, JP players, from what I've seen, they normally try to jump. They freak out and, oh, he's now in front of my face, now I need to like pressure him. So they try to either jump on you and you can punish the jump and then start your offense, or they are going to try to drive rush. They're going to try to drive rush and hit you with a crouching medium kick, or the JP special drive rush into command grab. Okay, so the crouching medium kick, normally they follow it up with a, if they do the drive rush, they will follow up with drive rush with crouching medium kick, and then a crouching light punch into light lariat or something else. All right, so here are the options that you have when this happens. So you have to understand that crouching medium kick on block is -1 when you do it after a drive rush, and there is a 2-frame gap between it and the crouching light punch that they always do afterwards. So you can't really interrupt him in between. But if you block the lariat that comes after the crouching light punch, you can punish it with a sweep, because it's actually -10 on block, and if you are in range. So, or you can do level 1, if you are not in range, you can do level 1 with Ryu, just as shown in here. Another option for JP players is they love to do the drive rush and immediately cancel with command grab, as I've said before. This can be punished with a jump on reaction, alright? So here is where it gets difficult, knowing whether they will go for a command grab after the drive rush or a crouching mini kick after the drive rush. This requires you to be ready for both options. So either they go for a command grab after the drive rush, or they go for crouching medium kick after the drive rush. So the best way to deal with this is to use a long ranging fast attack like Ryu's standing light kick to punish the drive rush, and buffer a medium tatsu with it, so then in case that the crouching medium kick option is used, you get to punish them immediately for the drive rush. Okay, but in case they go for the drive rush with the command grab, your standing light kick will recover quickly. It will whiff, but it will recover quickly, and will enable you to jump in and punish them on reaction. Okay, so this is something that you need to keep in mind, because from my experience, I've seen a lot of JP players, they do this. All right, some players, they mash crouching light punch after crouching medium kick without drive rush. This is not a real block string. It can be interrupted. I like to use Ryu's standing light kick here. And some players, sometimes they use also another low move called Malice, low hitting move. It's called Malice, and this move is actually like -14 on block. So if you punish it, most of the time you can punish it. So if you block it, I mean, most of the time you can actually punish it with a heavy kick, because it's -14. As if it's a Shoryuken. But sometimes it whiffs because they like to use it from long range. Sometimes they use it from close range. I've seen that, so you can get to punish it. But if it's from long range and you feel like the standing heavy kick will whiff, I suggest that you use the sweep, because it's -9. It's only 9 frames, I mean, and it can hit the move, which is -14. So it will be a great option for that from long ranges. So now that we have talked about what normally happens in mid-range versus JP, Let's talk about the lariat. The lariat, which a lot of JP players they end their block strings with. Okay, so you need to really punish the lariat. This is tip number 3, guys. Normally JP players they do the lariat after, like, 2 crouch and light punches. So they do 2 crouch and light punches and then they do lariat. Sometimes they do the light lariat, sometimes they do the medium lariat, sometimes they do the heavy lariat. Alright, so if they use the heavy lariat, you can drive impacted on reaction. Okay, same goes for the medium lariat. However, if they do the light lariat, you cannot DI it. At least like in a match, I've seen that I can't really DI it on reaction, but in training it can be done. So technically it can be done. Alright, but the gap is small. The gap, I believe it's like 4 frames. The gap between 2 crouch and light punches with the light lariat. You can input a DI in there and punish them, but it's more difficult, and I feel like it's unrealistic. Okay. However, if they use the light lariat and you block it, it is actually -10 on block. Alright, so you can punish it with a sweep afterwards. If they do 2 crouch light punches and then they do the lariat, you are normally going to be in the range for the punish with a sweep. Alright, remember this Ryu sweep is like -9. If you are playing another character, you can Ryu sweep is 9 frames, not -9. It's 9 frames. So it can punish something that is -10 on block. If you are using a different character, check what option that you have that is long range. Check the sweep, how fast it is. If you can punish it, if you can punish him with that. So exactly how we mentioned before, if the sweep does not work, let's say that they go for 3 crouch and light punches and then they do a light lariat. Alright, it is still -10, but because of the pushback, you will not be able to punish it with a sweep. So what do you do in this case? You punish it with a level 1 super, alright, like you use level 1 super, something that will cover a long range and is fast, alright. Just to help you memorize the different versions of JP's lariats, in English, if he uses the heavy one, he says move. If he uses the medium one, he says sidestep or step aside. Sorry, he says step aside. If he uses the medium one, if he uses the light one, he says away. So with the sound cues, you can actually like know which version that he did. For example, if you block something, if you block the lariat, okay, and you wanna understand like which one was that, so then next time you can punish it. Some JP players, when you're playing against them, they like to use the heavy one a lot. So if you happen to block it, you want to know which one did he use, so then next time you can punish it. Alright, some players they like to use the light one a lot, so next time you want to know which one to punish it, and like that. So understanding the sound cues will help you a lot in dealing with the lariat itself. So another option that JP does, if he is doing like crouch and light punches twice, he can sometimes they command grab. From that case, instead of doing the lariat, they will go for the command grab. You can actually punish that on reaction. You can do that with the sound cues. I highly suggest that you always have the sound on when playing against JP, because it's much easier to react to the command grab with the sound. Once you hear it, you can immediately jump it and you can punish it. It's done on reaction, so you have to practice this. You can keep also in training, you can have all of these options opened. You can record each option and then open them all together and have them work randomly. One time you can have the dummy do crouch and light punches twice, then light lariat, then second time medium lariat, then the third time heavy lariat, fourth time it can be a command grab, and then fifth time it can be a rift open where he snaps his fingers and then he does departure. Alright, so so if he does that, you can also punish him on reaction. It's a 50 frame long move, and if he's doing the finger snap, it's a 50 frame long move, and you can definitely punish him while he's doing it. So you can have the dummy you can record all of these options and have the dummy repeat them randomly, so then you can practice the punish for each one of them. That is actually the best way to do this. This is the only way that you can actually improve truly versus JP, if you do this. So then you can implement it in a match, because it simulates the match situation perfectly. So now you are in front of JP. So you want to start damaging him. You want to mix him up, but you are afraid of the counter, the infamous counter move. I believe it's called amnesia. So I highly suggest that if you are playing against somebody who's new, like you've never played against this JP player before, I highly suggest that you don't go for the meaty immediately on his wake up. Just wait, delay it for a few frames, see what they go for. What do they do on wake up? Do they block? Do they go for a grab? Do they mash light buttons on wake up? Do they do the counter on wake up? What do they do exactly? And then from there you can build up or understand the pattern or understand what does this JP player do, because this tip or this point is highly different for every JP player and for every situation. I like to go for I like to wait for the first time when I knock them down. Okay, I like to wait and see what they do. All right, if they grab, I'm already like just a few frames away from the I'm just a few steps away from them. It will be considered like a shimmy, so then I can punish them. If they go for if they go for a counter, I can punish the counter and get the party started from there. So the thing is about JP players is that once they do a counter and it's punished, they try, at least if it's like a regular player, he will be afraid of doing the counter again. They might do it, they might go for it again, but if you punish them hard enough, if you punish the counter hard enough, they will not do it again in the same round. All right. So you have to mix it up. Yeah, if you get the counter right, if you get the counter guess right, and you punish the counter with heavy damage, it will keep them hesitant to use it again. All right. So after you punish the counter, you can maybe go for a grab them once, grab them twice, and then go for a shimmy. Or I like the option of actually neutral jumping against JP. I think the neutral jump is very good against JP because it covers the counter, amnesia. It covers level 1 and level 3, which sometimes JP players may do on wake up. And it covers wake up grab also. And if the JP player has a read on it and he just punishes he just anti-airs the neutral jump, it is not a lot of damage. It's not a lot of damage, but you just lose your turn. So that's the only drawback. So it's still a good option to throw it here and there. I like to do it more often than not. Depends on the JP player sometimes. Some JP players they read this all the time. They anti-air you. So, but if they always do this, if they always wait for the neutral jump, I will just wake up grab. I will just grab them on their own or mix them up with something else. So there are options. Okay, don't be afraid of the counter that much. Okay, I feel like if you are afraid of the counter that much, it will significantly limit your chances of actually dealing damage to JP. So don't be afraid of it. All right, it's scary, yes, but it's also scary for them. You have to make it scary for them when they whiff it. If they whiff the counter, you have to punish them very highly. Do the most damaging combos too, so then they can be afraid of it. But make sure that you don't go on burnout. Do not go in burnout versus JP. This is the worst thing that you can do in this entire game. Don't go in burnout versus JP. Always keep some 2 bars with you, 2 bars of drive meter with you, so then you don't go in burnout. Because if you go in burnout, you can eat a lot of chip damage and you can actually die against JP just while blocking. You can actually die. So don't do that. Make sure that if you want to punish them, but don't go in burnout. All right. So one more thing. Let's say that you have JP in the corner. He's in the corner right now, and you are pressuring him. You're mixing him up with shimmies, grabs, meaties, or neutral jumps, whatever. And he wakes up with a counter, and you have actually you were going for a meaty and you hit the button. So now the counter is active. Alright, what do? If you have JP in the corner, you just have to put yourself in their place. What are they normally going to go for? They are going for sure, they're going to go for a back throw. Okay, so make sure that you do not hold parry in that situation. If you have JP in the corner and he wakes up with parry and the parry activates, do not hold parry. Do not hold parry. I highly suggest that you go for a grab because they are going to grab you. That's what, you know, the best option they have is to grab you, put you back in the corner, and now they can start their offense. So I highly suggest that you go for a grab. And if you actually grab them successfully, let's say that they don't go for a grab, okay, and you grab them successfully, all right, if you grab them successfully, you will not be hit by the counter. The counter hits, the projectiles that comes with the counter, they will not hit you because you will be in the invincibility frames of the grab animation. Alright, so this is a good option. If you have JP in the corner and he wakes up with grab, you can mash grab. You can just grab them. If he goes for a grab and you go for a grab and he techs, you will be pushed away from him. The projectiles will come. You can just block the projectiles, or you can parry the projectiles after that. Alright, so that is a very good option to do versus JP when he is in the corner and he wakes up with counter. So tip number 4 is to learn how to avoid his level 2. His level 2 is quite annoying. A lot of people, I had a lot of issues with JP's level 2, and until I learned how to get away from it, how to make it useless basically. So you have to understand something, that if JP does level 2 raw, like, you know, full screen length or something like that, you can just double dash it. If he does that, immediately just input double dash from when the animation starts. Once he does this finger snap and then the level 2 starts, just input double dash front and then you'll get away from it. Alright, or you can just hold parry, okay, and then do drive rush immediately once the animation starts. Just drive rush immediately once the animation starts, and you will be out of there immediately. All right, there is a problem with this, is that if the JP player is actually close to you and you double dash in front of him, he can actually punish you. If he's waiting for that, he can actually punish you, or if he sees that you are you're dashing or doing drive rush, he can actually punish you just as if you are, just as like a dash punish, like a normal dash punish. All right, so the best option that I've seen, okay, for avoiding his level 2 is to block the you have the option for blocking all the hits. Blocking all the hits is basically there are 4 hits, all right, for level 2. First hit is high, second hit is also high, the third hit is low, and the fourth hit is high. So if you can block all of them, that's good for you. If he does not teleport inside of the level 2 and try to mix you up, or you can block everything, that's very good for you. But if you want to avoid it, I highly suggest that you block the first 2 hits, block high for the first 2 hits, and then immediately jump back. Immediately jump back. There is a gap between the second hit and the third hit. You can immediately just jump back, and then it can be avoided. I've seen a lot of JP players, they try to hit you with an unblockable, where they would like open a rift, okay, and try to teleport inside of the level 2 while the third hit, which is the low hit, is coming up. So what happens is that while they're teleporting, they are going to do an aerial jump, which is blocked high, but at the same time you're getting hit with a low attack. So it's very difficult to block, if not impossible to block. Alright, so if you do this, if you immediately jump after blocking the second hit, you will avoid all of this. You will avoid all of these mix-ups, and it works wonders. Like, I've tried it in multiple matches, it works really well. Just block the 2 first hits, okay, block them high, and then immediately just jump back. Or you can jump front, but as I said, it can be punished. But jumping back is the safest option to avoid this level 2. So the last tip that I'm going to give you against JP, which is the sauciest tip of all, is to use a meaty fireball setup versus JP's wake up, on JP's wake up. First time that I've seen this, happening is when I was watching Just Fog's replays on CFN, and I saw that I was like, wait a minute, did he really do that? So when I went to practice mode, to the lab, and then I tested out and I saw, man, that's actually very great. From then I started implementing in my matches, and it worked wonders. So there's actually a great video. My brother Tiga, he has a video. I hope that I pronounced your name correctly, by the way. He has a great video in explaining this whole tech and why it actually works, and all of the options that you have on how to use it and how can you actually set it up. So I'm just going to show you like 3 ways that you can set it up here, but if you want the full breakdown, please go to his channel, give him a sub, and watch his video so then you can understand how you can fully capitalize on this fireball meaty setup. So the reason why this meaty fireball setup actually works is because JP's counter Amnesia is not actually fireball invincible. It does not work on fireballs. Alright, so if you can't time a fireball to hit him on his wake up, alright, it will actually punish counter his counter, his Amnesia. It will punish counter it, and then you can immediately follow up with a combo afterwards. So the way to set this up is, after you do, there are 3 ways. I'm going to show you the 3 ways that I normally use. After you do a light donkey kick in the corner, all of these are in the corner right there. After you do a light donkey kick in the corner, you can whiff a standing light punch and then do a light Hadouken, and it will be +1 on block. Alright, and if it's blocked, it's +1. If it's not blocked, it would be a punish counter or counter hit, and you can continue your pressure with light kick, light punch, and continue the combo. Another way to do this is, after you do a light tatsu, after you end your combo with a light tatsu in the corner, you can whiff a standing light punch and do light Hadouken, and it will be +2 on block. Right? If you time it right, it will be +2 on block. Also, if JP wakes up with a counter, it will punish counter him, and you can continue the combo. Even if they block the fireball and they mash afterwards, you will get a counter hit because you're +2 on block, and then you can continue the combo with a standing light punch, as shown over here. So the third option that you have, which I like to do a lot, is after you do a combo that ends with a heavy donkey kick, okay, and you finish that combo with a light DP in the corner. Alright, so after you do that, you actually whiff a crouching light punch and you do a light Hadouken, and if you time it right, you will be +3 on block. And of course, if he wakes up with the counter, you can, get a punish counter and continue the pressure, as we have said before. If they block the fireball, it is still your turn. If they block the fireball and they mash afterwards, you can get a counter hit and continue the pressure. So it's a very good option. It covers a lot of options. If you think about it, it covers wake up grabs, it covers wake up counter, it covers wake up jump, it covers wake up block also, because if they wake up block, it's still your turn, you can still continue the pressure. So it covers a lot of options. It's absolutely great. So with all of that covered, this is it for this video. Tell me guys in the comments if any of these tips you found helpful, if it helped you in a match, if it helped you win against a JP that is giving you a lot of trouble. I know that I have a lot of trouble with JP, everybody is, so I believe that these kind of tips will help you, even if you don't have a fireball to set up the meaty fireball setup. You can do the other tips. There are counters here and there. Even if you don't use Ryu, I believe Luke can also do these meaty fireball setups in different ways, of course. I'm not sure about Ken, but there are ways. The point is, there are ways to counter JP. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your friends so then they can stop, complaining about JP. Of course, even if you do this stuff, you will still not have like 100% win rate versus JP, but it will help you. Alright, so but there might be some salt, there might be some complaints here and there, but it will help you for sure to improve your win rate versus JP. So thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.